Welcome back to another episode of What a Plate with your favorite bitch, Tasia Nicole. I hope y'all missed me because I missed recording a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, this is my third time recording this video. I promised last time that I was gonna give y'all the story about me and my ex. And for some reason, my brain has pushed that memory so far back into my whatever that place is that where your memories get pushed back. It pushed it into a closet. It packed it up. It opened the box. It packed it up, and it moved it to a place where I couldn't really recollect everything.
Sometimes, in order to, for the purpose of having things we do for that reason.
The thing is, one, also too, I've been working. So I work really hard to make sure I don't think about stuff that bothers me. I don't really like to get upset. I don't like to be bothered by stuff. I'm not the kind of person that likes to be sad. I don't like to deal with hard emotions. My therapist said it's not healthy. It is what it is. But work is going to replace whatever bad memory it is all the time. So when I feel sad, I just work hard.
Bitch, what the fuck you looking at me for? I have to go to work. Yeah.
That's it. She says it's not healthy. I just met that bitch, so there's no way she could tell me it's not healthy. It's healthy for me. It's healthy for me. I can't really have terrible thoughts and bad memories and still perform to my best at work. And she said it's not healthy. Well, I think she needs to mind her motherfucking business. And that's it. But anyway, that bitch is working out, as you can see. But anyway, I just got home from the gym, and I decided to sit down again and record it again before I go out to dinner. But anyway, here we are. A story about my ex. You know, I really don't like thinking about this stuff. Like, I don't mind writing it, but I guess to talk about it is a little different too. But we'll kick it off like this. I met that stinking nigga. I met him in October of like 2023. So this was like the last of the Mohegans when it came to like the Hinge dating. I was never the type of person who ever really got on like dating apps. Like, I normally met people on Instagram or Twitter. And like, if I ever did use dating apps, it just really wasn't for that. It was really just because I was bored. Like, I never really got on the dating app. But anyway, that doesn't matter. I met that stinking nigga in October 2023. So, you know, he looked really eclectic. That's one thing about me. I don't really have a type. You could put anybody I ever dated into a room and nobody will know why they were there. Like, they could have as many conversations as they needed to have to try to figure out why they was all there, and my name would never come up. It would never come up. They wouldn't know why they were there. Everybody looks different. They come from different backgrounds. I don't really have a type per se, other than like typically artsy, typically really eclectic. If they're not artsy, then they're funny. If they're not funny, then they're artsy. Or just like really eclectic or really smart. I like to date smart people, but some of them haven't been that smart either. I don't know. But sometimes I date people, a lot of the time I date people that I'm not attracted to. So I don't take it that serious. Is it a bad habit? Yeah, I don't really know where I learned it from either. I don't know when I started to do it. I just realized one day,
Found me a girl cool enough to last me till I find a girl I really want. She cool, she a vibe, she make me smile and stuff like that.
That doesn't matter. It's a tangent. But anywho, we met in October on Hinge. And he was like the last one. I decided to change my location to another city just to see like what the luck would bring. Or what the cat would drag in. It's not even luck. It's whatever that cat goes into the dumpster and drags out, whatever damn animal it is, whatever the cat drags in. And they drug his ass in. He looked really eclectic. You know? Did I find him attractive? No, not really. But my attraction is not really based on the physicalities, though. Even though I do like a good face, the personality. So we were talking. We talked about music, and we talked about, I forgot else what we talked about, but he was funny. Ugh. The funny ones get you all the time. The funny ones are, it's just, I think funny men are sent from hell.
Hell, motherfucker!
They know exactly what the fuck is funny. He was funny. He was funny. And then he wasn't funny no more, but I'll get to that part. But he was funny. And, oh, he's talkative. He was talkative in a way where it complimented me, because I'm also very talkative. It complimented my talkativeness nature. My talkative nature. And that was nice. He made me a playlist, and that was nice too. And then it kind of fizzled out. Like, I think I had made plans at one point to come to New York. Like I was saying, I would like come and meet up with him, you know, whatever. And I never did. And he never asked me about it. So I never said anything, because I can make a plan. I will. And I remember that I made it. It's not like I forgot. But if you don't bring it up, I'm not going to bring it up. And also, it was cold as hell outside. Like when I made the plan was like on the weekend where it was snowing outside. I said, oh, bitch, I'm not going no fucking where in the snow for a man. No, I wasn't doing that. So he ain't bring it up. I ain't bring it up. And then, you know, around like November, Thanksgiving sometime, you know, we were texting a little bit. And then at some point we FaceTime too. I just can't remember when was that. We FaceTime and we like talked for like 6 hours, 7 hours. Ugh. Yeah. I can't remember when that happened. See, I told you, the way my brain pushed back memories, my brain is fighting to keep it locked in that cage. It's called the bad stuff cage. My brain is really fighting tooth and nail to keep that stuff back there. Because as I'm trying to pull the memory to the front, it's like, we don't want to remember that. Anyway, but in November, sometime Thanksgiving, you know, he like sent me a video of like him with his family, and they were like doing game stuff. I thought it was weird, because I didn't know him, and he was like sending me videos of him and his family. I didn't understand that. I didn't get it. Maybe it's cute to somebody. It's not that I didn't like it. I just didn't understand it. Sometimes I think I have autism for real, because like maybe that is normal to people, like they want to see it, but like my brain was like, I couldn't compute why he was sending it to me. I didn't find it. It was like I had any strong emotion toward it, but it was just like, that's weird. And I kind of was like, I don't even know if I responded to it. And then he texted me, like, you know, let me know he got to the airport and that he was sick or whatever, like some days later. And I was like, oh, okay. And then it kind of just really fizzled out after that. It was like abysmal. We wasn't talking. And I didn't care, because I wasn't really attracted to him. Didn't really care. And also, I'm very content being single. A lot of people are not content with being single. I like to be single until I want to deal with people. And then when I want to deal with people, I'm going to go outside and start dealing with people. It's just like that. So I didn't really care that much. But anyway, March of 2024, he hit me up, and like he called me. It was like 10 p.m. And typically my phone was on Do Not Disturb after 8 p.m. So I don't know how I got that call. Maybe it started happening. Maybe I put my phone on Do Not Disturb after 8 p.m. because I started dealing with that nigga. But somehow he called me. It was like 10 p.m. He called me. He was like at a bar drunk with his friend. He was just like, oh, you know, I want my friend to hear your accent. Like, you got an accent. I was telling my friend that, like, people from where you from, like, they have an accent. And, you know, he had me talking, and he found it funny. And I mean, I kind of found it funny. It was like, it's a little odd, but whatever. I guess it's funny. I just went with it. And, because it was weird for a person to have that much vigor. And, like you're calling me like we didn't talk, like we had not talked. Like, we've been talking this whole time. Like, the way he called me when he was talking so casual, you would have never thought that I hadn't talked to that motherfucker since, like, November. But I went with it, though, because he was funny. The funny ones would get you. I don't want no more funny men. The next nigga that say something funny, I'm not laughing on a date. Because it's not funny. Nothing is fucking funny. I realized early on that nothing that a man says is funny. It's not funny. The jokes are not funny. His actions aren't funny. Nothing's funny. I'm not laughing at a motherfucking thing no more. but it was funny. And we started talking, and then from there we started talking every day. And at one point I was like, yo, what am I doing? Like, why am I talking? And I mean, it was every day. It wasn't me calling him, it was him calling me every day. Every day, all the time. And I didn't understand it.
How many people were scared? Me too. I was really, really scared.
And if we weren't texting, if we weren't talking on the phone, we were texting, and it was like an all-day thing. And I started to feel uncomfortable, but I didn't stop myself. And I should have.
When you do clownery, the clown comes back to bite.
But that's neither here nor there. But we started talking a lot. Like talking, I'm sharing, he's sharing, you know, I'm like sharing personal stuff. I mean, I'm pretty much an open book until it comes to certain stuff. Certain stuff I don't really talk about. You have to like really get to know me for me to talk about it. But I don't think I ever saw it going anywhere, so I kind of just like gave it to him because like, one, he doesn't know anybody that I know, so I thought. And then two, if we never talked again, like now you're just like a random person that knows secrets about me, but like you don't know anybody that I know. And that was cool with me too. Well, it's like you tell a stranger your business. Like, you know, you get drunk and get in the Uber and you tell them people all your business and you never see them people again. It was kind of like that. Like you live far away from me. Like you live in a whole other state. So I'm not thinking anything is going to come of it, but you know, whatever. And then we got to a point where we were planning the first date. And the first date was like April 13th. Yeah, April 13th, 2024. And you know, I got my hair did. I went to New York. It was cute. And when he walked up to me, he was like, he's like oddly attractive. Like if you like eccentric, eclectic looking men, like, and I do. Some men that I've dated, it looked like they fell from the fucking sky and slapped the ground. Child, that's how busted they was. But they were funny. And some of them were really nice. Not really nice, because, like, they would still be here if they was really nice. But they was nice enough to get past the threshold, which is to see me in person. But he was, you know, he looked really eclectic. You know, the thing I liked that I didn't even know I liked? He was bow-legged. I never really knew I liked that until I saw him like that. I'm like, oh, I do like a bow-legged man. Bow-legged, broad shoulders, and he was slew-foot, but not where it was too bad. It wasn't too bad. But I'm like, oh, I like that.
Let's play a little game just between you and I.
Cause see, even if a person's not attractive, you'll still find something else that you like about him. And I found it. I said, "Oh, this is," and I liked his laugh. His laugh was funny. He has a nice laugh. Not me. Not me reminiscing with y'all like. But when he saw me and I saw him, we saw each other. He looked at me and I looked at him like, And I mean, I felt like a girl, like a little girl, like, oh my God. Like, you know, when you got a crush on a boy, well, if you do know, when you got a crush on somebody in high school and it's just like, well, you just can't wait to see him, like that feeling like, well, I just can't wait to see them. That's kind of how I felt, like, ooh, I like him. And it was laughs the whole time. So we went out to some I don't know if it was Ecuadorian, but we went to Brooklyn and we went to some Ecuadorian restaurant and that was cute. I liked his outfit that day too. I liked the way he dressed. That's what it was too. It was unlike anybody I've ever dated before. And I said, I like that. I like the way he dressed. It was very, you know, it's also the way he moved his body. Like his body moved in a way where it's like he didn't really, you could tell he didn't care about how people perceived him. And I like that. I like when people, it's, you know, it's like a rebel, but his body just gave off like very loose in the world, like a wanderer. Like I feel like you could randomly catch him somewhere in like Brooklyn just wandering around. He kind of looked, he like the way his mannerisms were very like wanderous, if that's even a word. But I'm gonna move on. But after we went out to dinner, well, I guess early dinner, then we went to a bar and played pool. And I mean, we was sucking face. My tongue was down his throat, and we is kissing. Kissing it, like, you know, and typically on a first date, I would not behave that way because it's just like a first date. But you know, sometimes when you feel it, you feel it. Because normally on a first date, I'm just a bitch. I want a man to think like it's either I want him to think he never wants to see me again, or it's like, oh, I gotta try hard for this one. But the way I come off typically on first dates is not like that. So I said, oh, she's out of her element. She's doing something different. And sometimes like I catch myself in a moment like, girl, what is you doing? And then I'd be like, girl, I don't know. I'm like, bitch, we didn't plan to do that. And I'm like, oh, but girl, we doing it. But we was kissing. I mean, kissing, heavy petting and kissing. Anyway, and then we decided to go to like another bar to meet up with a couple of his other friends. So like one of his best friends and his best friend's roommate or something like that. And we ended up playing pool again. And by this time I was a little sauced. And then he came up with another plan. Then we got another. I said, and this is why I don't really like going to New York. This is the reason why I don't like going. Because when you go to New York, your day is never how you anticipated it being. You go there for one thing. Now you're doing everything. Go there for one thing. Now your whole day is everything else but that one thing. If you can even get to that one thing, that'd be great. But like, it's normally not that one thing. It's everything else. New York, it gives me stress. It stresses me out. But anyway, so we end up going to a soccer game. He's like, oh, I got another plan. We're going to go to a soccer game. And I'm like, okay, a soccer game. One of his friends was like doing some like art stuff that was being shown at the soccer game. And that was cool. So I ended up meeting like more of his friends. And I'm like, this is the first time I've been on the first date and met the main people who are a person's friends. Like their main friends. I didn't know how I felt about that. But it made me uncomfortable because it's like, nigga, I barely know you. I barely got a chance to know you. Now I'm meeting all your friends too. So I got to get to know you and them at the same time. It was a little weird. And then we went out again. See, I told you, the day just never ends. I was waiting to go home. I was waiting to go to his crib all day. All day since the first pool place. And now we doing everything else but that.
Ready to go? Are you 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 ready to go? I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
Anyway, so we go out to another bar, and you know, like, so we eventually parted ways. His friend that was doing the art stuff had his girlfriend, and the girlfriend and the other best friend parted off, and then me and him found our way to meet them somewhere, whatever. And, you know, when we got around the first friend that we met up to play pool with, he was just like, oh, yeah, like our other friend, his girlfriend was saying, like, you know, like she can't believe, like, you got a black girl. I was like, she can't believe you got a black girl. He told me his last girlfriend was Asian. And he did say that. Well, he dealt with somebody before me. He dealt with, like, this Indian girl. And before that, it was an Asian woman. So I'm like, is that really far-fetched? I asked him if he dated black people. He said yes. But for his friend's girlfriend, who has been around him for 6 years, only said that she's surprised he brought home a black girl. One, if you were in a long-term relationship, why is she surprised that you brought home he was with that girl for 6 years, 5 years? Why is she surprised that you brought home that you brought back a black person?
Cause was you bringing in other people during the relationship?
Whatever. But he got offended by that. And I mean, the whole night he was irritated with her. After that comment came out, the whole night he was talking shit about her. Like it was like his nemesis. Like, oh, she thinks she important. Like, she thinks she important because she around him. And I mean, he was turned. And I said, this is strange. It's strange. And he was actually really talking shit about his best friend's girlfriend. I said, okay. I didn't say anything about it, but I definitely did keep a mental note. Like, this nigga got something going on. He got something going on. So anyway, we went back to his house. We finally got back to his house. And by this time, I was drunk. The drinks had drunk me. And then it get expedited. And we expedited it to the expeditious land. And I won't go into any further details. And I tell you, I'm not that girl. But I was that girl. I didn't even anticipate doing all of that. But we move on. So then, sometime later, you know, he came to Philly. It was like the next month. Whatever. Came to Philly. And we went, it was cute though. We went on like a bowling date. went to like an arcade, blah blah blah. I can't really remember. I'm telling you, my brain has pushed back that shit. Like it doesn't want to remember. But we went bowling. It was cute. It was really cute. That time it was a good time. And we pretty much stayed in the house for majority of the time because like the second day it rained a whole lot. When it rained, he had like real thick dreadlocks. That's one thing. He had real thick dreadlocks, and when it rained, we were like walking around, and it had rained real bad. And his dreads started stinking. Like it was unlike any smell I've ever smelled.
Smelled like straight up. It smelled like a toilet full of nasty ass. Okay.
And I said, ooh. And that made me question the relationship. It really did make me question the relationship. It did, because I didn't, that smell, it was like, and as I gave him a towel to wipe it with, and like, it was like brown, like light brown dirt that was coming from his hair, and it smelled bad. He didn't smell bad, but once his hair got wet, it smelled bad. I did not like that.
This is fucking bullshit. Excuse my language. No, fuck it, don't excuse it. This is bullshit.
So in May, early May, like May 4th, there was like some art gala in New York, and I came back out to go to that. And that was cool. It was nice. I kind of felt like, I don't know, like it was a little strange. Like we had went to the club, you know, whatever. We went to the gala, and there was like a guy in the gala that was like waiting. It's always that one man waiting for your boyfriend to walk off so he could walk up and approach you. And that's exactly what happened. He walked off to go to the bathroom, and then this little short bald man approached me like, you know, you're just real beautiful, and I just wanted to let you know. And it's like he was waiting for me to respond, and I'm like, thank you. And then he saw him, the guy, walking back over, so then the little man, he disappeared. And I like let him know, I'm like, hey, this part of the story is important because it's important. But I was just like, hey, you know, like that guy tried to talk to me when you walked up. I'm like, you know, he's weird. And, you know, we both laughed it off, you know, whatever. It's like, who? Oh. Because he was following us around the whole night. Like, I saw this little man following us around, and he didn't pay no mind. But I saw this little man just standing next to me all night. I was like, what the fuck is this little bean? He just following us around like a fart. Like a fart in the room. Just lingering. But I'm gonna move on. So we end up, after the gala, we end up going to a club with his friends. Like, so we all went to the club, and we were all like sitting down and talking. I was talking to now his friend's girlfriend, the same one he had this whole beef with. I was talking to her, and she was like telling me what she was into, like modeling and acting, and she wanted to move to LA, blah blah blah. And I was drunk, and typically when I'm drunk, it's kind of just like, oh my gosh, oh that's so nice, oh yeah, oh my god. It's like an auto programming. Like imagine like you turn on like a pre-recording. Because typically I don't really care what people are talking about, but when you're drunk, when I'm drunk, I really don't care because I can't really hear you. There's so much happening, and I'm hearing everything at the same time. Normally, sober me can focus, but I was drunk. I'm like, oh my gosh, and you're so beautiful. Oh my gosh, that is so nice. Oh wow, and I can't really help it. I don't really know what that is, but it's like an autopilot where I'm communicating and not really paying attention to anything that you're saying, but my responses match what you're saying. I don't know what that's called, but I was doing it. So I saw him like looking at me and like laughing, you know, whatever. And I couldn't understand why, but later that night he was telling me I was condescending. He's like, you know, you come off like really condescending. Like she didn't know that why you were doing it because like she's stupid, but I noticed you being condescending. I'm like, I wasn't. I was drunk. I can't pay attention to nobody while I'm drunk. I'm trying to focus on me and not vomiting. But I can't really. But he was like trying to convince me that I was like condescending. I don't know what that was about. And at some point, like he tried to like convince me that I'm a bisexual. Have I had sex with women? Absolutely. A lot of them. Am I a bisexual? No. One day I woke up and was like, I don't want to do this no more.
Gay? Girl, don't play. If I was gay, I'd be like, I'm gay, woo! And I hang with the gays, but I ain't gay.
I was with a whole woman in a relationship, and I woke up like, oh no, this is too much. I don't know what it was, but it turned off. Whatever it was that attracted me to women just turned off. Like it was like an off switch. But when I told him that, he's like, no, you're gay, you're bisexual, you're gay. And I'm like, what is it? It's like a needler. Like a person that just likes to pick at you. But he really was trying to convince me that one, I was condescending. And then two, that I was a homosexual. I don't know what he got from that, but I feel like he was really trying to convince me of those two things for a little bit.
Tell him, I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men no more. I said I like women. Women. I said women.
But I move on. So then we got to a point where, you know, he asked me to meet with his family, you know, like, oh, I want you to come down south because he was from Atlanta. I want you to come to Atlanta with me to my cousin's birthday party. And I was like, I don't really feel comfortable like meeting your whole family because one, I don't really know you. I'm still getting to know you. And I don't want to meet anybody's whole family. Like, because granted, I'm telling you, I met this man. We were talking on the phone, yes. But from March and now we still in May. March to May, you want me to meet your family? And I'm like, something about this can't be right.
Methinks not. Methinks not. Methinks not.
It can't be right. It's impossible for it to be right. Because when a person is moving that fast, they just got shit to hide, and you don't know what the shit is that they're hiding until you find out. If you ever find out.
I think somebody trying to set me up.
But I'm like, he's like, my whole family's not going to be there. It's just my cousin's birthday party. Like, my whole family, it's probably going to be more of her friends. Whole time he was lying. So I was just like, I'm like, I can buy my own ticket. At the time, I was like, I can buy my own ticket. And he was just like, no, I'm going to buy it for you. Don't worry about it. I'm going to buy it. I'm like, you know, whatever. And we're getting to we're getting closer to the date. And the week of, he calls me randomly. It was like, oh, hey, boo, you know, I just wanted to tell you, you know, you got to get your own ticket. Bitch, I told you I could get my own ticket. See, because at the time I looked, it was like, what, $60 to get to Atlanta. Now it was $310 to get to Atlanta. It was $310 to get to Atlanta. And I'm like, you know, it's like, and he said it so like, oh, you have to get your own ticket. All right, I'll talk to you later. I called that man later that night and said, oh, I'm not doing that. I said, I'm not going to go. I'm like, I told you I could have paid for my own ticket. And when I said I would pay for my own ticket, it was $60. It's $310 right now. It's like, I just didn't know how to tell you I couldn't afford it.
Oh, what the fuck is that about, asshole?
When I met him, he was doing some like contract artist work. And it was like part-time. It wasn't like full-time. So when I met him, that's what he was doing. And I've realized now too, a lot of the relationship, I was paying for stuff. But I didn't want him to feel like he had to hold it all on his own. I don't know. When I like a person, I don't mind spending money. Am I going to spend all my money? No. But when I like a person, I don't mind spending money. And also, he wasn't like he wasn't working. If he wasn't working, we would have never been involved. But he was still doing stuff. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But I'm like, I'm not going. And he was like, well, I'll put most of the money up for it. I just didn't know how to tell you I couldn't afford it. You know, like as a man, I kind of felt bad that I couldn't afford it. And I'm like, okay, I kind of get that part. But I'm like, it's still not right. But that man put $200 toward that ticket, and I had to pay the rest. And my dumb ass went to Atlanta to meet his family. Like an idiot. Like a moron.
Bitch, that's my nigga, ho. So I'm gonna ride with my nigga, bitch.
We get there. We stayed at his sister's house. She was lovely. His sister, her husband, and their kids. They were lovely people. The family was pretty lovely. They were nice folks. But like he said, it wasn't going to be his whole family. We show up to the party, it's his whole family. We show up there, it's his whole family. His whole family is there. Even his daddy showed up. His whole family was there. We going around the party. I'm looking like, he told me this wasn't going to be it. He told me this wasn't going to be it. And when his aunties was just like, oh, so who is this to you? He looked at me like I was supposed to answer. Bitch, you answer. Who am I? Who is And he was like, oh, you know, this is my sweet cheeks. From across the room, you hear, that's not, don't call her that because that's what you call me. No, that's my nickname.
Ah, the ghetto. The ghetto. The ghetto.
And it's his niece. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? She was like, no, you can't call her that because that's what you call me. And he's saying, I'm sorry. He giving her a hug and everybody looking at me like I'm a monster. I said, now what fucking dynamic is this? What dynamic is this? Why am I in this dynamic? I don't even deal with that kind of stuff with my own family. why am I now in this dynamic? I wasn't even supposed to be meeting your whole family for this. And this is the kind of weird shit that I don't really deal with too much, because that to me is really weird. And the fact that somebody, it was another grown person. I mean, she was like maybe 18, 19 maybe. But like she is like, and I mean, she was dead serious. Like, you're not calling her that. That's my name. And everybody is looking at me like, oh, you done made her mad. Made her mad? I don't even know y'all niggas. I don't even know you. I don't know you. I don't know you. I don't know you. But it was a weird tension between me and his niece for the rest of the night. And I don't really understand why. Can't get it. Don't understand it. But what I kept doing is drinking. Because, you know, when you're drinking, it is what it is. So I kept drinking. Then at some point I had somebody's baby. I think it was his sister's baby. And that honestly saved the night. It's just me and the baby, and I'm drunk as hell. Afterward, you know, I ended up talking to his brother. Me and his brother having a one-to-one. You know, he's like, oh, he's a good guy. And, you know, people would come in and use him. And now I realize it was the other way around. But I'll get to that. You know, people come in and use him. And, you know, he really is a good guy. He does mean well. When somebody say somebody mean well, it means they mentally ill. When somebody, oh, you know, like he's such a sweet, like they're such a sweet person. They mean well. You know who you say they mean well? You know who you, like, you say that about people that are mentally ill. If I had a badass kid running around the park and biting people, I'm so sorry. He just wants to play. He really does mean well. You only say that about people who are slow. Like, you said it about people who do out of pocket shit. And I said, oh my gosh, there it is. There it is. He means well. That man about to take me through it. He about to take me all the way through it too. I'm like, ah, shit. So we move. I can't remember. And I asked his dad. I had a conversation with his dad. I said, did you raise like a man? Like, did you raise like a good man? Like a family man? Like a person that's going to be good to me? Like, how did you raise him to be like a husband? His dad was just like, his dad. His dad got away from me. His dad got away from me. He did not answer that. His dad literally did not answer. I'm talking to him, facing him this way. He looking this way. I said, oh no. This nigga raised a monster.
Enough to experience it for themselves. The trial running sporadically throughout the rest of the month.
So everybody's like, oh, what should we do after? Because we all outside now after that birthday party. We all outside. And I'm like, oh, you know, we should go to the strip club. And I'm trying to get everybody to go to the strip club so I could go lay down. Because at this point, I'm tired. It was too much human interaction for me with people that I don't know. And he was like trying to make it seem like it was cool. Like, for some reason, he was real cool with just walking away. And I'm just sitting at the table by myself. He acted like I had known him before. And that I knew how to navigate this. Like, I didn't get that part. I really couldn't understand it. It was very bizarre to me. But anyway, they was like, yeah, we should go to the strip club. Yo, next thing you know, the whole family is getting rounded up. Everybody rounded up. We get in different cars. First of all, me and him was in different cars. He rode with somebody and he left me by myself with his sister and his mom and his mom's best friend. And we riding around. I don't even know where we're going, but it's taking us 45 minutes to get there. And the next thing you know, we in a strip club in the middle of the woods. I have never seen a strip club with so much dirt road and tree around it. I'm like, where the fuck? Are we in a brothel? And so now we're all at the strip club. The family rounded up and went to the strip club. Let me backtrack. While I was meeting his family at his cousin's birthday party, his cousin was just like, oh, you know, you're the prettiest girl he ever brought down here. Oh, you're so beautiful. And I asked him about that comment. You know, he told me, oh, just because you're not Asian. It's just because you're black. I've been bringing Asian people home. You know you know how black people are. I later realized, because I wasn't really thinking too much about that comment, it was not a compliment to me at all.
No, this trick didn't. No, this trick ass bitch did not just go there.
Fast forward to the strip club. We're at the strip club. That same cousin sends a stripper over to me and him. So I'm sitting on his lap. The stripper comes over. And she's shaking this big old ass on me. That's not my thing. Because first of all, I don't know you. And then second, you're sweaty. And then third, I don't like I'm not a man. So like when I see a big ass I'm not phased. I don't have any parts where I can penetrate any big ass. So I don't care about that. I mean, she's shaking and looking back at me. Like, girl, if you don't get your funky ass away from me. And I was moving her off of me. Like, and his cousin's like across the room smiling because he sent her over there. So then he said he's about to go get some cash from the ATM. I was just at this point too drunk to even fathom what was happening. So I just got sad and started crying.
I can't even talk. I can't even breathe.
Because I could not fathom what was going on. Before we even entered the strip club, he was showing me his STD results on the MyChart app. I don't even know why that was happening. But we're in the strip club. He disappeared. I'm just sitting there on the chair and he has disappeared. He disappeared. He noticed me crying. We go outside. I guess it's time for everybody to go home. We was talking about something. I don't know. I start crying. He's wiping tears. We go outside. I'm still crying. And somehow, somewhere in that parking lot of the strip club, we made it official. It would be a bitch like me to get into some nut ass shit like that. I don't even know why I'm crying. I was too drunk. I was too drunk. Seriously, too drunk. Yeah, I don't know. I can't even recall why I was crying. But let's move on. We ended up going to like this clothing store. So like we ended up going thrifting. One of his friends from New York, the one that we had played pool with the second time, was now in Atlanta. Because for some reason, that's like his childhood friend or somebody's childhood friend. So he knows their family too. And he also was at the birthday party. Yeah, that's what happened. Told you my brain be trying to push this stuff back. We ended up going clothes shopping. And at one point, we was in this one store, me and him. And, you know, I pointed out this brand. And he's like, oh, like, I know the people of that brand. And I'm looking at him like, oh. And I said, oh, okay. And then we moved on. I had told him about, like, a dating story of mine where I dated somebody and how it went. And he thought the story was, like, so funny. But the whole time it was the person that owned that clothing brand. And him knowing them now was a problem. Because it's just like, what if I show up somewhere, you invite me somewhere, I pop up randomly. Now me and this man is in the same room. You have no idea that I had a fling with that guy. But anyway, I put that to the back of the brain. When I got back home, I called my best friend. And I said, hey, best friend, best friend. And he was like, oh, hey, you know, I was like, I got a boyfriend. He's like, oh, you got a boyfriend? I said, yeah. I met all his friends. Oh, you met all his friends? And I said, yeah, and I met all his family. Met all his family. I'm like, yeah. One thing I love about my best friend, he doesn't judge me outwardly. He doesn't, like, say, like, bitch, you don't think that's crazy? It is like I tell by the tone that he think it's crazy. He's like, oh, you got a boyfriend? Oh, okay. Oh, you known him for how long? Oh, 3 months. Oh, okay. But I was just like, you know, because at one point the guy did tell me, my ex did tell me, he told me he had bipolar disorder. And I knew when he told me he had bipolar disorder that it was never going to work. I knew that. I knew for a fact that it wasn't going to work. And because like I know mental illnesses, and I always and I told him to his face, I'm like, you know, I don't think we should have kids because you have bipolar disorder. I'm like, if we ever did get married, we couldn't have kids unless it was like some type of in vitro where they can definitely guarantee that the baby wouldn't have any serious mental health issues. I think that's when things start declining. I think he took it personal. But it's just like if you battle with bipolar disorder and you got to a point at some point where you wanted to, you know, take yourself up out of here. I'm like, why would you want to bring somebody into this world that would experience the same thing? He's like, oh, well, you know, I got through it and they can too. Sir, you're 35. Never been engaged, was with a girl and wasted all her damn time. You let her walk out of your life because you was a piece of shit. I don't think you got it under control. I don't think that's under control. But anyway, I told my best friend, I'm like, I don't think it's going to work out. But I think, you know, he's coming here to meet you. So my best friend decided, you know, agreed that him and his wife was going, you know, agreed to meet this man. So we got back to, So later that month in May, you know, it was, yeah, okay. Let me rewind back to New York when I went to like the art gala thing. While we were on the train, one of these times, he was staring at this girl. Like, we were on the train, like, as me and him were sitting right next to each other. He's here, I'm here. The girl gets in, she gets on the train, she's right here. She was beautiful though, like this beautiful Indian girl, really beautiful. I looked at her, I was like, wow, she's really beautiful. But see me, I'm not attracted to her, but I can tell that, you know, I can acknowledge that she's beautiful. And so I see him looking. We both looked, but he stayed looking. See, now he's at a point where he's staring. Like she's right here, he's right here. He's staring at her, like really staring. So some other people got on the train and they stood in front of his way of seeing her. So he's like punching the pole. You can see he's getting like agitated because he can no longer see her. So I'm watching this like, what the fuck? What? And I'm watching him. So we're sitting here, the girl's here. There's a door right next to me right here to get off the train. Our stop comes, he gets up, and like he's mesmerized, he floats in her direction and get off the door all the way near her so he can look at her one last time before we get off the train. I brought it up to him, right? Because I'm not the type of bitch to stay quiet, because I can't hide that I hate you. It's impossible. But I was like, you know, you were staring at that girl, and I'm like, you know, it's just really uncomfortable the way you did that. I'm like, and he's like, well, you know, I'm an artist, and when I see beautiful things, like just like New York is filled with beautiful people, like they're all over the place. And it's like,
yeah, I'm a bet you sound like a fucking Scooby-Doo ass nigga. You talk like Scooby-Doo, nigga.
Yeah, this is not going to last. There are so many things that I knew from the beginning it wasn't going to last, but the signs was there. The signs were there. I would never be the kind of person that's in denial, like, oh my gosh, I didn't see any signs. I saw all of them. They were glowing. They were fluorescent lights. There were sirens. There were horns attached to all of the flags and signs. I just think, you know, I saw the plot through like a maniac. So, you know, all of this very frustrating, you know, and like at some point I was like opening up about childhood trauma, and this motherfucker was laughing. One of the stories I told him, it was like kind of grim, but he's laughing, and he's like, I'm sorry, it's not the story, it's the way you're telling the story, it's just the way you're telling it. And I said, oh my gosh, he's about to do the change up. He actually hates me now. As I was talking to my best friend on the phone that day, I said, you know, I told him about the situation at the clothing store, and we talked about the brand and how he knows the person that I had a fling with. I told him the story about the guy, just never said who the guy was. Best friend was just like, you know, you should tell him, you know, just in case you're in a situation where like y'all end up in the same place at the same time, and he's like kind of unaware. When I decided to tell him, like after he called me, he was on the toilet. He used to call me on the toilet. He used to wipe his ass on FaceTime. He'd be on the toilet pooping and wiping his ass. Anyway, you know, I told him, I said, you know, like that story I told you about the guy and a fling, and you know, and he was like, yeah, and I was like, oh, you know that brand we saw in the story? He's like, yeah. I was like, yeah, it's the guy such and such. His face was just like, it's like I betrayed him. His face was like he couldn't believe that I was in proximity with a person like that. I think it stunned him, and not in a good way. I think he thought I was a loser. I really do think so. Or like just like a attractive female who don't have nothing going. Like I don't know who he thought I was. But then after that, the degrading part of the relationship started. So now it's just like, I'm going to laugh at the childhood trauma stories that you tell me. You know, I'm going to nitpick. He would like nitpick at certain things. And then there's like this, you're staring at the girl. just shit like that. It just was the little shit like that. I'm like, this is not gonna work, and I know it's not gonna work. I know it's not. Like, I knew it from the beginning, but it's like he was solidifying it. Like, he didn't like me. I could tell now he didn't like me because of that. I knew what it was from. So, you know, me and this friend of mine, you know, we ended up going to the club, and it was like we were walking around, you know, and I ran into this girl. So I met this girl, you know, when I was bumping coochies, when I first started, like a baby lesbian. I had met her, and when I met her, I didn't realize she was young. So I'm like, oh no, I can't fuck with you. Because I met her like via Twitter. Like, I saw her on the train once, and then I ended up seeing her on Twitter, and she was like 5'10", and I assumed she was like around my age when I first started dating girls when I was like 18. And I assumed she was around my age, but she wasn't. She was like young, and I'm like, oh babe, I can't fuck with you. But somehow, someway, we end up having remotely, like, we end up being in the same friend group, just from all like the model stuff. And I had, like, over the years, like, we would text on and off, but it just would never go anywhere. I didn't care if it went anywhere. Just really wasn't my thing. And we ended up running into her downtown, and I ended up kissing that girl in the club, cheating in the club, kissing, and I almost slept with that girl. But I was like, you know what? I'm not even interested. Even drunk, I couldn't do it. And I knew, and when she asked me if I was in a relationship and I said no, I knew at that point that I should have got out of that relationship, because it wasn't even something that I cared to talk about, because I knew it wasn't healthy and I knew it wasn't going to go nowhere. So I probably should have ended it a lot sooner, but I didn't. And then I ended up hanging out with, it's like this, I wouldn't even call him an ex. There's a person in which we transition in and out of each other's lives. It's kind of toxic, honestly. But we had a fling when I was like maybe 23. But we literally have been platonically friends since then. But he comes in and out of my life, and we go out, we drink, we eat, and we have fun literally as friends. But I then caught myself lying about hanging out with him. And once I realized I was doing that, I was just like, ooh, girl, you know it's over. It's over, babe. Cut the cameras, it's over. Because, like, I would pretend like, oh, my bad. I would take off my Apple Watch. So that way, because we were, like, doing it, like, what do you call that? When you're tracking the fitness, like the fitness challenge with people on your Apple Watch. I took my watch off, pretend like I was just waking up for a nap. That's why I didn't get his call. It was literally because I was out to dinner. When I found myself lying, it was just like, damn, bitch, you're really lying. Like, you're really lying.
Hey, I'm a land-ass manipulating narcissistic bitch. I wanna be your one, meanwhile, you're my six. I'm only 23 when I'm 30, I'ma quit. I be crying in land, I'm trying to make it sound legit. This nigga caught on, I ain't crazy, cause I'm sick.
And then at one point I posted a picture, and him and I, we were on the phone, and he started going through the comments. And he was like, oh, like, you cool. I'm like, what you mean? He's like, you respond back to everybody that comment on your pictures. And he found, I don't know how he found this out. I don't know how he found it, but he picks all the girls. There was no men really that commented on my picture, because my Instagram, the activity decreased significantly, because I just don't really use it anymore. But he found the one girl that I had kissed in the club.
And
He found her randomly, went through all of them and landed on her, and then started going through her Instagram in front of me. And I said, oh my God, this is awkward. But I kept it cool. I didn't say anything. And at some point too, he started disappearing. It was like around this time, like he would disappear for like 10 hours, 14 hours. And I'm telling you, when I told him about that guy that I dated, it immediately shifted his whole perspective on me. Don't know how, didn't ask why, didn't really give a fuck. But I knew I had to start doing me, because it was going to be almost over. And I knew it was going to be almost over. And then, anyway, so he decides to come back to Philly to meet my best friend and my best friend's wife. So we start off the day. He comes here. He grabbing beer from the corner store. He's drinking beer. Got like a 4-pack, 6-pack. I don't know, but he's drinking beer. 2 beers. They got loose beers. Because you call them loose beers? I don't know, because I don't drink. But he has loose beers. So he's drinking, you know, and then we're drinking some more because we end up going to, so I end up taking him to a candle making class. There isn't a lot to do in my city, and I'm like, okay, let me just find something to do that's fun, that we both will like, interactive. So we end up at a candle making thing. We're drinking then too. We come back to my place. We go out again, and we're at like a bar, speakeasy type of situation. He's drinking again. By the time we meet up with my friends, we're already both like a little lit. Him more than me because he's like a drinker, which is what I found out. He barely even drank water. This nigga was always drinking liquor. But we meet up with my friends. Like, as I said before, a lot of the time that I was spending with him, I was paying for stuff. I think maybe I led with paying for stuff, and eventually it just ended up just me paying for shit a lot of the time. So I think he got accustomed to that. But now we're in front of my friends. He's paying for everything. He's paying for this. He's paying for that. He's just paying. He's buying shots. We leave the mini golf because we did mini golf with my best friend and his wife. We did the mini golf. And then we went to a speakeasy afterwards. And then he had one of his friends that lives near my city. She came out and we're all drinking together. And now at this time, he is plastered now. He is plastered. He is plastered on the walls, on the floor. He drunk. And now he wanted to pay for everybody's drinks. Now he went, and I said, no, we're all going to split it, you know, whatever. We end up leaving. We leave. We get outside. He's taking like all these bottles of water off a cart. The woman was like, that's for the hotel. That's for the hotel staff. Can you not take all the waters? And he's like, oh, fuck you. Cussing out and she's like irritated. And I'm like, he can't even handle himself drunk. Can't even handle himself drunk. We get outside. He's pulling up his shorts all the way up to his chest. And, you know, I'm like, it's funny, but I'm like pulling his shorts down. You know, it's just being ridiculous, right? But it was funny. It was cool. But then my friends, they walk to the car. We part ways. All of a sudden, he's on, you're embarrassing me. I said, what? He's like, you're ashamed of me. Like, you don't like the way I dress. Like, you don't think I'm cool. Something. And I'm like, what is he talking about? We walk into my car, because I got to stay a little sober because I'm the designated driver. He's yanking on me and pulling me around the streets. And I'm like, you got to get off me.
Jeremy Scott left for brunch and came home to what he describes as a movie scene.
I'm going to start carrying my pistol. If we in the Wild Wild West, somebody need to let me know.
Crime scene.
You have to. You have to. Because it's like forceful gripping now. So now I'm uncomfortable. And I'm going to have to fight you. And you don't have nowhere to go. And you're staying with me. Either way, you're going to have to come back to my place to get your shit. Anyway, if I do kick you out. So we get in the car, whole car ride home, quiet. We come in. He's in the shower and he's crying in my shower. He is crying in my shower. I'm not cool enough for you. You don't think I'm cool. I wish I was cooler. And I mean, he is just like crying in my shower. And I said, what is going on? He's yelling at my Alexa to play some song by Aretha Franklin. And he was just having his whole moment. He ruined my night. So now I'm crying. And he's now laughing at me while I'm crying. I said, oh, girl, you done found a maniac. You found Satan. You found Satan. You found him on the internet. And I finally was just ready for bed. I said, listen, in the morning, when we wake up, we got to decide what we're going to do. Because we might have to break up. Morning came. I got up before him. I went to the store. Got shit for breakfast. Because I don't mind breaking up with somebody over breakfast. But I came in the house. He on my couch. He flicking through the channels. I said, He didn't bother to text me, ask me where I went. He just up, flicking through the channels. I said, we got to talk about last night. He flicked through the channels about what? I broke down to him what he did. He was like, oh, I'm just so ashamed of myself. Just so ashamed. Oh, I can't believe I did. Lying ass nigga. You do know what you did, psycho. Now I just got a full-on psycho on my hands. I got a full-on psycho. He's pretending like he don't even know what he did. And he know damn well what the fuck he did. Like a maniac. He apologized. And kind of like let it go. I guess I had to let it go too. Whatever. We ended up making breakfast. Then we had to go do lunch at his friend's house that lives near me. We get to the friend's house. We get to her house. She was a sweet girl. She was like there with her boyfriend, you know, whatever. And she cooked like this, I don't know, really healthy meal. She was nice. She was a nice girl. One thing in common that all his friends have, they see him as really innocent, and it really freaks me out how they see him that way, because he really is like an asshole, like a serious asshole. But all his friends treat him like a baby. And I don't know how he got that dynamic going, but he has it with all of his friends. Because all of his friends, he's such a sweet guy, and people just take advantage of him. And he just, what? A sweet guy? Take advantage of him? This nigga's taking advantage of me. He's fucking with my mental health and my pockets at the same time. I think he's the problem. He even told me about his ex-girlfriend. Like, he told me what he did to her. Like, he was being an asshole to that girl the whole time. If that story is true, because also he was a habitual liar. But anyway, we're all sitting around and eating. And his friend was just like, did you guys, like, delete the app? He's like, oh, I did, but I don't know if she did. Now the whole table is looking at me. I'm like, why the fuck would you say something like that? Like, why? So now you're trying to embarrass me. Trying to embarrass me. I said, of course I did. I'm like, we both said that we did, so I don't even know why you're acting like you don't know that. But we move on. At one point, at one point in the relationship, he said he was having problems with his knees. I told him what to do. You need some arches in your shoes. You got flat feet. His friend's boyfriend, I don't know what he does for a living, but for some reason, he then brings it to him, and he's like, I don't know what to do. The guy told him the same thing I told him. And I said, well, I told you the same thing. He's like, yeah, but you don't know. You don't know. You don't. And we in front of people, too, so now you're trying to make me seem like a dimwit because I don't know. So now I'm just not intelligent because I was like, this is what he does. He does this. I don't even know what that man does. But I think there was definitely a better way he could have put that. Anyway, we left the house. I think we went to an arcade after that. Came back. He left the next day. He said he would never do it again, that whole drunk scene that he did. But, of course, he did it again. Of course he did it again. So, we go to, so now it's like, it's just, I don't know if this is June yet. I think it's still May. It might be June. Yeah, we do his birthday. I went to New York for his birthday. Caught the bus. Did everything for his birthday. We went to like 2 different restaurants. I spent some damn good money. And, then we went to an art gala later that month. And, my period came on the day of the art gala. And it's just like, because my periods are awful, and I told him that. But it's like I had to tell him how to, like, treat me. Like, I need to, like, sleep for an extra. Because my period was on. But whatever. We go to the art gala. And again, there's people there, some of his friends and people he's known for a while. Oh, he's such a sweet guy. He's such a sweetheart. And I'm trying to figure out, how the fuck do they know him like this? Like, how do they know him like this? Because also he tells, like, little weird lies, too. Like, for Memorial Day, oh, yeah, me and all my friends, we're going to come to your city. We'll get an Airbnb. We'll have a cookout. Whole time, he was like, I was just playing. I was just playing. He kept that lie going for, like, 3 weeks. Anyway, but they're like, yeah, he's just such a sweet guy, he just has such a good heart. And I'm like thinking to myself, how the fuck do they know him like this?
Say it, I hope I don't sound ridiculous. I don't know who this man is. I mean, he could be walking down the street, I wouldn't know a thing.
Because at this point, he's already like doing like the verbal weird stuff. Like at one point, we're joking and he called me a bitch, and it's just like, and we both look like, what is that? But the art gala was nice. Went out to eat, and then we on our way home. So we had a car. The car dropped us like middle of New York somewhere. We get in the Uber. Well, actually, while we're in the car, he's yelling from the back seat, turn this song on, turn that song on. I mean, he's like groping my boobs, and at first it was like, I guess like just drunk and sexual, and that's like okay, whatever. But then it started getting rough, where he's like pulling on my tit and like pulling my nipples, and it's like and that man, he pushed me, move, and he actually said move and pushed me off of him. And I said, oh, this is crazy. We get out the car, we catch an Uber back to his apartment, and I'm like my stomach hurt, my period's on, and he's like whispering like Bloody Mary in the back seat over and over again. And the Uber driver is now getting uncomfortable. He was like, is everything okay back there? And I said, yeah. I said, I'm sorry, he's drunk. And he was like, he needs to shut the fuck up and mind his business because he works for me. I said, no. I said, I'm so sorry, sir. Because we're now on the highway. And the guy is slowing the car down. The car is slowing down to pull over on the shoulder of the highway because you about to get out. I was not getting out of the car on the highway on the shoulder. But this nigga kept going. Like verbally berating the Uber driver. Get out the car. going to his apartment. I throw him into a cold shower. He's screaming in the shower. He eventually lay out in the bed and go to sleep. Woke up the next day, told him about it. And he thought it was so funny. And I'm like, yeah, it's not really funny. Because, like, this is the last time you're going to say sorry for some shit like that.
I can even see through the window.
And he looked at me like it was a challenge now to him to do it again. And I said, all right, well, Tasia, you know what to do. I leave New York. I go back. It's the 4th of July now. We're at his friend's art studio for the 4th of July. You know, he always did this thing where he like would walk ahead of me too. Very strange. But whereas now it's the 4th of July, we're at his friend's art studio. And you spend time getting dressed and you kind of like want the person that you are dating to say something like nice, like, oh, you look nice. But I'm getting ready and I'm like, okay, I'm ready. And he was like, are you ready to go? All right, come on. We leave out. And when we got to his friend's art studio, one of his other friends' girlfriend was there. And he looked at her outfit. He was like, oh, I like your outfit. I like it. He's like, I like the ombre. Like, I like it. And then he kept saying it. And I said, oh, that's what, like, his plan was to make me upset. If we rewind a little bit, at one point I did tell him, like, my dad will do this thing to my mom when they were dating. Like, my dad will compliment women or flirt with women. And then my mom will get jealous enough to fight them. This is going to be important moving forward. Sorry, it's been a long story, but this part is going to be important. So we get back to the art. Let's go back to the art studio. So we're in there, whatever. And he now is doing this thing where he's just walking off. I am still getting to know his friends, but he's walking off. I don't know where he went. He just went this way. He went some other where. And it's just like, I think, to me, when you are dating somebody and they don't know anybody, you typically stay with the person that you're dating, because even though your friends are there, the person that you're dating doesn't know anybody. So I kind of just found myself like wandering around this big ass art studio, just finding a place to be. And he's getting plastered because they got wine and he's drinking it. But I've also, the affection was always really performative. Like, it would only happen in front of people. Like, behind closed doors, I literally was like a house plant. Like, oh, you there? Oh, okay. So now we're getting to performative romance around the friends. And then, by the time the end of the 4th of July thing happened, his friend was just like, oh, well, I'm about to head out. He was like, oh, you're leaving? And then his friend was like asking him, like, are you leaving? And he was just like, no, I'm going to have a couple more drinks. His friend looked at me, and I looked at him, and his friend was like, all right, and gave me a hug. Like, he looked like he felt bad for me. But a lot of the time, what I noticed, his friends looked like they knew something I didn't know. I could never figure out really what it was. Didn't stick around long enough to figure out what it was exactly. But they always looked like they knew something I didn't know. Anywho, so now he's officially drunk. He is drunk now. He is tore up. We leave, now we're walking to the train. And as soon as we part ways with the friends that were like walking with us to the train, one of his friends that was walking with us to the train, he leaves with a bottle of wine too. He leaves the party with a full bottle. We part ways. As soon as we part ways with his friend, here he goes again with the drunk shit. Now he's pulling me around on the platform. It's the platform of the train. He's yanking me about. There's other men looking like what the fuck? And I'm so irritated. I'm like, you have to stop yanking. I'm like, you have to get off me. He's like, oh, okay, you want me to touch you? Wait till we get home. So now you're using affection when we get home as a weapon. And it's like, okay. And his pants are falling down. He's sliding down like the railing to the train. And he's falling down the steps. His pants are falling down. He had the bottle of wine in his pants leg. It was just like, what is this? And because when men see you unsafe, now we're in the middle of New York, and the men weren't looking at me like they wanted to help me. They were looking at me like they wanted to sexually harass me, because I was scandalously dressed. But it's like, now I'm with a man that can't even protect me if anything is happening, because he is just too drunk to even care. And also, even if he wasn't drunk, he wouldn't care. Then we go to another store. And he's getting like a vape. He had told me he stopped vaping and was lying about vaping. He like lied about it. I caught him doing it on FaceTime once. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm still doing it. Lying about it. We get to the vape store. He takes the wrapper off the vape and just throws it on the counter at the guy, and we walk out. And the vape store guy was like, what the? And I'm like, I'm so sorry, he's drunk. So now I'm apologizing because I got a 35-year-old man with me acting like a bitch. What a mess. So the next day, you know, he had told me, this is a month before I came down for the 4th of July. Like, oh, he was sending me songs. Listen to these songs. I'm gonna take you to this party. My friend something, whatever the person's name he made up. He said he's going to dance battle us. So learn these songs. You got to learn how to dance to these because we're going to be in a dance battle. You know, the whole time he was lying about that. The whole time he was lying. I don't know why he thought it was funny to just lie. And I mean, he was lying for like a month about this thing. He lied about it for a month.
Police! Help! Police! Help! Police! Help! Help! Police! Help!
When I tried to talk to him about the drunk thing, right? We woke up the night after, so now it's July 5th. Woke up. And I'm trying to talk to him about it, and like I slept on the couch because he was so drunk he just laid on the bed. I laid on the couch and went to bed. Woke up the next day. He's mad at me. He's mad as shit. He is fuming at me because I decided to sleep on the couch. Like he woke up. I wake up to him standing over me. Why? For what? Why are you here? Why are you here? What are you doing? I mean, he is pissed off. Like pissed. He walks off. I walk into his room while he's still sleeping, and I'm like, we gotta get up because we need to talk about this. He's like, oh, can we talk about it when I get up? I'm not up yet. I said, okay. So I laid down next to him, and he was trying to do the cuddle thing. I didn't really feel like it. So then I heard him get up, and when I heard him get up, he stood over me, and I cracked an eye open. He stood up and like shook his head and laughed and walked off. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this bitch? It's just always something with this nigga. So now he's on his computer. He had like work. So actually now too, he now has a job. He found a full-time job, whatever. And when he first got the job, he was really excited. And I was excited for him too. And then I was like, he would call me, like FaceTime me at work to show me all the things they had. Because he's like now working in like the, what do you call that? Is it the Pentagon? I think it's the Pentagon. And he's like showing me all the stuff that his job has. He's talking about this job, and you know he's excited about it. And I'm like, you think you better than me? And he would laugh, and he'd be like, yeah. And then one day I said it again, and he was like, yeah, I do. He was dead serious. And then the disappearing act, like disappearing for 10, 14 hours. And I was like, nobody is sleeping for 14 hours. People barely, and him also too. It's just because of who he is. That nigga never slept because he was a demon. So I know you're not sleeping for 10 and 14 hours. And also, as soon as you wake up, you're on your phone. And then he was telling me about this girl at his job. He kept talking about this girl at his job. I said, oh yeah, it's about to happen. He's about to happen. He's like, you know, she has like really, really eclectic clothes. And I scared her the other day at work because I made like a loud noise. But like, she's cool as hell. I said, oh, that's what it is. He done found somebody at work. That's all it is. But I'm like, he's almost done. And now I don't even got to lie no more because I'm actually still hanging out with the girl I kissed at the club and still hanging out with what you would consider an ex of mine. So I don't even got to lie no more. I could just move on with my life. But he's typing. I'm like, can we talk about what happened, you know, last night? He's like, he's typing. And he's like, it's no big deal. It's the 4th of July. I'm allowed to drink. It's the 4th of July. And I said, oh, okay. I leave out. I go walking. And I call my dad. And my dad never really has good advice. Like that man, my dad has such shitty advice sometimes, but when I really do need advice, he got the advice. And he knew I didn't have like the best relationship with my dad. But when I walked back into his house with my dad on the phone, I was like, my dad want to talk to you. He looked like your dad. My dad want to talk to you. I always tell him, and I don't talk to my dad often, to see what they do when they feel like there's no man in my life present that's going to check them about anything. And realistically, my dad, so I was talking to my dad, and I was telling my dad, like, yo, this guy is just like you. He's an alcoholic. That's it. One. And then 2, I'm like, yo, he get foul with the mouth. My dad was like, you don't have a boyfriend. He has a girlfriend. And the thing is, he wants you to be like his bar buddy. He take you to the bar, he introduce you to his friends, and that's all it is. But y'all are not in a relationship. He said, you actually should get out of there. Like, you are much better than that. And my hearing it from my dad was like, oh my gosh, because this nigga is actually a terrible man. So for my dad to be saying this to me, it gotta be ringing some bells of his where he's giving me good advice.
I need you to do something for me. Wake the fuck up. Wake up. Wake that ass up. Wake it up, you prostitution junkie whore. Wake up. Get your ass up. Wake the fuck up. Wake up.
I walked back into his house with my dad on the phone. My dad is like, yeah, I can't wait to meet you. He looking like, I can see his wheels turning. Yeah, pussy, my dad is around. And so are my brothers too. I just tell men that these men are not in my life to see what they do. I have men in my life. They will really kill you. And my dad was like, yeah, bring him to Philly. I'll meet him. He said, but I don't know what you want to see, but you can bring him here. But I'm telling you, I can make it happen.
I don't know, it's something about that song that just make you want to get up and bust a motherfucking move.
If had we not broke up that 4th of July weekend, he was going to come to Philly and some bad stuff was going to happen. Because once I sit down with my dad, it's him and my dad, I'm sitting down with him and my dad, and I'm telling my dad in front of him what he was doing to me, my dad would have put hands and feet on him. My dad would put, and I knew that. And that's what I was inviting him to. Anyway, so I'm like, I think I should leave. I think I should leave. He was like, no, I don't think you should leave. We can, whatever the fuck he said to me. I ended up staying. I said, you know what? Let's try to find out everything we could find out while we're here. Because I needed a solid reason to leave. So as he's working, I'm going through his stuff in his room trying to figure out what I can find. At one point, he had a pair of my underwears that I left under a pillow. I'm just that girl. But my panties was gone, my shirt was gone. I couldn't find the stuff that I gave to him anywhere. So I think he threw it out. Went through the dirty clothes. I couldn't find anything. I literally couldn't find anything. Whatever. But I ended up staying. And we ended up going to a club. That club that he said his friend was taking us to a dance battle. He then broke the news that I was getting dressed, that story wasn't true at all. And I'm like, why would you lie about it though? He's like, no, but listen, they all worked out because my other friend invited us there to go dancing today. So he gets off of work, whatever. We go to this day party, whatever. And as we're at the day party, everybody's dancing. It was a party for dancers. It was a party for people that professionally dance. But also people that wanted to be there to have fun too. I think it was called the garage or the dungeon or whatever the hell it was called. But everybody's dancing. I'm dancing too. I just want to have a good time. I was in his house all day while he was working. And I just I'm trying to dance with him. That man stood there like this. I'm dancing with him and he's doing it. And I'm seeing other men see it happen. Other men are looking at me and him. One guy was looking at me like you should just come. And he was dancing and looking like you can. And that's how sometimes you have to look at people around you that are observing your relationship. That way you realize you're not crazy. And he's just standing there. He just, I was a pest. So then he was like, let's go upstairs. So we go upstairs, and it's an outdoor upstairs. He took me to this is you go up the steps, and it's a landing, and it has this overview of these people of this room where people were dancing in. And it was a bunch of bitches. He took me to go watch other people dance because he didn't want to dance with me. I said, okay, Tasia, it's almost over. It's almost over. It's almost over. And as we're walking to go to the bathroom, some lady stops. She's like, can I take a picture of you two? So you guys look so cute together. And he's taking a picture, and he was just we're sitting down, he's drinking a beer. And I'm asking him, I said, oh, what do you want for the future? Because at some point, I realized as I would ask, because I test people, and that's just what I do. I ask a question more than once. And if the answer changes, I know something internally is changing. But I was like, what do you want for the future? He's like, I want to get married and I want to have kids. See, before I want to get married to you, I want us to get married. I want us to have kids. Now it changed. Now it's I want to get married. I want to, and I said, oh, okay. He internally knows it's over too. So we're rearing the end of this whole thing, and that was fine. And we end up leaving to go to another like bar. It was always a bar with this man. No other date, just a bar. Went to another bar, and it was cute. And we're sitting down and we're talking, and I feel like his attitude was dissipating a little bit, but whatever. So I get up to go to the bathroom, and as I'm waiting in the line for the bathroom, I'm like, something was like, go back to your seat. Like, go back to your seat, go back to your seat, go back to your seat, go back to... And I ignored it. But when I finally used the bathroom, I came back to my seat. He's like sitting there laughing. This is the happiest I've seen this bitch all day. He's laughing, scrolling through his phone. And I said, what's funny? And he's like, nothing. And like, I mean, really like laughing, scrolling through his phone. And I said, no, like, what's up? He's like, yeah, like when you went to the bathroom, like this girl walked up and she sat down and was just like, oh, is somebody sitting here? And I was like, yes, somebody is sitting there. She was like, oh, is somebody sitting here? And I was like, yeah, somebody's sitting there. And I said, oh, okay. I said, so did you like get her number or, you know? And I'm like, the idea is like she sat on my purse too. I'm like, did you tell her that she was sitting on my purse? He was like, oh, I didn't even see it. He said, but like while I saw, when you went to the bathroom, her friend had told her to come over here, and her friend had told her to come over here once they saw you walk away. And I said, what direction did this girl walk in? Remember I told you that story about how I told him what my dad used to do to my mom? He was trying to see me do it too. I wasn't silly. This is the thing. I might see it through, but I ain't retarded though. Like, come on. So I got up and I'm looking and I'm walking. He was like, oh, that's the wrong direction anyway. I mean, and he's getting a kick out of it. So I'm like really looking for her. Like, where is she at? You know, like whatever, where is she at? And he wouldn't tell me where she was. And at one point, then I noticed it because he described her briefly. I went to go walk up to her and he grabbed me like I was trying to fight the girl. And I was just like, he never even understood I was never going to fight her. I was going to give her his phone number and introduce him properly. I knew that was going to be my last weekend with him. I knew that was going to be my last time with him. He assumed that I wanted to fight that girl. I didn't want to fight her. I was going to let them have each other because that man is a bitch. He did tell me that people assume that he's gay a lot. And I think so too. I think there's truth behind that. His friend that has roommates, his roommates are gay. This man is following his gay friend's gay roommates. And if people assume that you're gay, it's because you're doing something extraordinary outside. But he acted like I was trying to fight the girl. We leave out the bar. And I said, I gotta go back in. I gave the guy my ID to go back in. I said, I promise I'm not gonna fight her. We both go back in. He pulled me out the thing again. Now we at the Dominican food truck, and I'm like, would you be disappointed if I like approached her? He's like, I would be disappointed, but like, you don't care. And I'm looking like, you know what? I said, girl, what's the cost? Like, what's the cost of really approaching her and trying to introduce him? I said, you know what? It's cool. It's cool. We go back to his place, calls his sister. I'm telling his sister the story. And his sister was like, girl, what you worried about? Nobody want his ugly ass anyway. He looked at me, and I looked at him, and I said, oh my gosh, wait. So people think you ugly too. It's just extra confirmation. Like, you know what, girl? You good to go. You good to go. We go back out to like some European bar club. Well, the day party that we went to, that same place turned into like a European club at night. He just so happened to know the guy who was like DJing that night, who was like hosting whatever. It's like his party that he runs there every, whatever it is. We get into the club. And it just was nothing to do. It was like real dark and they was playing dungeon music. And again, here I am. I'm dancing. You know, I'm just trying to like make the, because I knew that was going to be my last night. I knew that was it. Like that was it. But I'm dancing, trying to have a good time. And he's sitting in like some dark corner texting somebody. I assume it's the girl that we met from earlier that night. But he's in the corner texting somebody. And I'm just dancing by myself the rest of the night. And I said, you know what, Tasia, it's okay. It's good. And then we leave. We go back to his place. The next day I get ready. And we're on the train now. We're on the train. You know, he's taking me to the train. And he used to pick me up from the bus stop too when I got to New York. But he stopped doing that like the last couple times that I visited. Like he stopped doing it. And I said, oh yeah. Like it's just, I think all the signs that it was coming to a crash and then were there. We both knew. But now we're on the train and we're talking about something. He's like, oh, so this weekend I'm gonna go get, because he told me he was going to take me to this place with him, but I'm gonna go to like the Asian bathhouse. I'm gonna go get ramen. This is like a date that he said he was going to do with me, and now he's telling me he plans to do it alone. So I was at his house, I was at his apartment for like 3 or 4 days, and now you want to do it alone. I said, okay. I'm like, he's trying to hurt your feelings in some way. I'm not letting it happen. And then I said something about food, like I gotta eat something. He was like, well, aren't you trying to lose weight? You know, you're getting older, so that weight's gonna get harder to lose as you get older. And I'm looking like, I've never even been a big girl. And not this motherfucker saying this to me with your ugly ass. It's just, you know, we got to the bus stop and one final kiss goodbye. And when I got back home, next day, sent him a long ass text message breaking up with him. And he responded back as I thought he would. I'm sorry. I really didn't appreciate you. And I guess there is stuff that I got to work on. And it was like after I sent him the breakup text and he responded, I did petty stuff. You know, the thing is, I'm never out of options. I've never been the type to be out of options. So I reconnected with a couple people and posted it on Instagram. And he was being petty. I mean, he was indirectly calling me all types of bitches and hoes on Instagram. He didn't think I saw it, but I saw it. And that was cool too. Then I was going through his Instagram trying to figure out who exactly the other bitch was. Because a man only started treating you bad when there's another bitch. And I was trying to figure out who she was. Asked him about one girl. So anyway, during the relationship, I kept asking him if it was somebody else, like especially when it started to get bad. And he's like, I got the patience for it right now, but I can't say I always will. So one day I'll get tired of it. I'm just not tired of it right now. And I'm like, okay. And guess what? I kept asking because I felt as though if it wasn't another girl, it was a man. If it was somebody. Because I also met a lot of his friends. They always had like these mysterious plans with a man. Never knew who the man was. Never saw any pictures of him. But he got mysterious plans with a man. We're going to go surfing. Who's the man? I met all your friends. Who's the man? It's some other stuff too that I can't say, but I found out some stuff. But also during the time that I wasn't talking to him, I found out he still followed his ex-girlfriend on Instagram. The one he said she blocked him and they haven't talked. He follows all of her accounts on Instagram. He was the whole time. Found her. She does some type of sex work. She's like a professional muser where she makes people pay to hang out with her because she makes their lives better. And from some of the stories, she's actually having sex with these people, but they pay her. I don't know.
So she stayed and we let her watch us have sex. But like the whole time, she wasn't watching me. She was watching Jonathan. She was like,
no idea. But they honestly, when I was like looking at her videos, they have the same personality. That's honestly who he should be with. If they aren't already still together, they really should be together. Like they should get married and have kids. Like they should do the whole thing together. I think he was, he said he had bipolar disorder, but I honestly think it was like BPD, like borderline personality. I know people that have bipolar disorder. Then I also know people that have borderline personality disorder. I think he thought BPD was bipolar. It was borderline personality. Seriously. Yeah. Then like I told him, like I want to, like the whole point of me writing was to eventually turn it into like a show or like a movie, whatever. One day this man called me. Well, my friend, she produces movies. I told her I've been writing animes and we're going to turn it into a show. He looked at me like, he wanted to see if it was going to bother me. And it just didn't bother me. I just thought it was weird. Like I just really thought what he was doing was strange. Then it was just like, in order for me to get into my art, I got to get manic. So like, it may be times I can't really talk to you, so I'm going to be manic. He just wanted a reaction out of me. And I wasn't giving it. I think a lot of the time too, he wanted to see if I was going to get angry. I don't really get angry because I know I got other people. Also too, even if I don't have other people, and I typically do, like there's not a time where I can't pick up my phone and call somebody that I know will do something with me at any point. If I really wanted to. Because typically I leave people. That's just what I do. So for me to just really get mad, like I'm not the crash out type where I'm like yelling and cussing and trying to kill you, or there's like a certain level of emotion that I can even get to, and I can't get there. So whatever he was trying to do, I don't think he was able to do it because I just left. Like right after I broke up with him, I was hanging out with a old fling of mine immediately after that. Like it's just, there's always going to be somebody. And I think he thought that I was desperate because I didn't say anything about a lot of the shit that he was saying and doing, because there's way more than what I even covered. He just had a real foul mouth. Like he was really mean, like abusive mean. And I can tell eventually if I stayed, it would have been way abusive. Like way more abusive than what it was getting to. I saw him treading directly toward that direction. And he also like would take my personal business to his friends. And I had to tell him like, that's actually not it. Like that's not it. Like you are gossiping about me to your friends. I think essentially what he was trying to do was create a narrative where I was the bad person. And that again, yet another person treated him bad. So then it reinforces the idea with his friends that he's just this good guy that people gotta take care of, or they gotta baby him. I don't really get it. And at 35, I get why he was still single. And at one point, he told me, like, when I saw you on Hinge, I didn't think you ever talked to somebody like me. And I asked him again, like, what, why did you, when you saw me, what was your first thoughts? It went from, I didn't think you would talk to somebody like me, to I thought, like, I guess I could talk to her. I don't know what he was trying to do to my self-worth. It didn't happen. He also was trying to get me mad. People try to get me mad a lot, though. He's not the first. That's not the first time somebody's tried that. I just don't get mad. I will get even, but I won't get mad. I will get even. Not that. I will get even, though. I will break even every time. But I found out what I needed to find out about him. And that was the end. Oh, no. Then I called him again. So after we broke up, it was like a week in between where I was like spending time with somebody else I had a thing with. And I called him. And I just wanted to see what he would do. Called him. And we talked. He was like, oh, no, I was talking to my therapist. My therapist said, like, that he didn't really see the excuse behind, like, why I kept disappearing. I told him I was just busy with work, but my therapist said it's not an excuse. But to me, it's an excuse. I'm like, oh, whatever. And I said, well, let me know if you ever want to try again. He looked like he couldn't wait to do it to me, too. I wanted to see what he would do if I threw that option out there. I think we should, like, try again. Like, let me know if you just want to try again. I was never serious, and I was never going to do it again. Then I posted another man. He texted me in a fury. Actually, I don't see this doesn't benefit me. Okay. I know it doesn't benefit you. I just wanted one last time to get on his nerves. Cause it's like he irritated me, but it wasn't enough to make me, I'm not like explosive. I don't have like an explosive personality type, but I just had to do it one more time. Because, like, where he thought he had me, like, oh, I got you. You don't got me. I have you. And maybe he did win in a certain context. Maybe he did win. I don't know. But I think people have, like, a terrible idea that I'm like, nicey nice. Like, nice, I'm kind. Like, nice is very performative, right? I'm a kind person. But then it's like, now I got to do bad stuff. Now I have to do bad stuff now. I must. But then, as I went through his Instagram after the breakup, I saw he was following those red pill kind of content pages. And I said, you know what? This is what it is. It's this. It's the growing up with your dad that's a cheater, growing up with your brother that beats women, but like, you look up to your brother that beats women. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all. One last part. When I met his mom, this was the staple. When I met his mom, I gave his mom a hug, right? It was like Mother's Day, patting her on the back. And she said, Nicole, I don't like that shit. Don't do that shit. I don't like that. And I said, you don't like what? And she was like, don't be patting me like no fucking dog. I don't like that shit. And he stood right there and looked at his mom, cussing me out like a dog because I hugged her and gave her a pat. The pat means the hug is done. But she equated that to me patting her like a dog. And he stood right there. And I tried to bring it up to him later in the conversation. And he ignored it. I said, you know, your mom cussed me out. He said, anyway, so what you doing later? He ignored it. I see why he's single. He also did tell me before that people don't really like him. Like they don't like him. Like when they get to know him, they don't like him. I get it now. But anyway, y'all, that's the story. I'm pretty sure there's way more to it. I just can't figure it out right now because it's really locked deep within the vault of all the bad shit. But that's it. And well, I hope you guys liked it. I'll be back again with other content not relating to dating and relationships. More so about me. But I hope you liked it. And until next time, bye.